Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have a session from full wives to half girlfriend, the woman in Chetan Bhagat's novel. We have with us in today's session, the panelists are Chetan Bhagat in conversation with Shinie Antony. A little bit about Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Bhagat is the author of a few best-selling books like 5 Point Someone, One Night at the Call Center, Three Mistakes of My Life, Two States, Revolution 2020, and What Young India Wants. His new novel, Half Girlfriend, is ready for release. Some of his novels have been adopted into successful Bollywood movies. The New York Times called him the biggest selling English language novelist in India's history. The Times magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. He is a columnist with leading dailies, a sought-after motivational speaker, and a screenplay writer. He quit his international investment banking career in 2009 to pursue writing. We also have with us Shinie Antony, who has written Barefoot and Pregnant and When Mira Went Forth and Multiplied, and has put together two anthologies, Kerala Kerala and Why We Don't Talk. She has won the Commonwealth Short Story Asia Region Prize in 2003. We welcome you both to the session.
Festival. It's music to my ears to hear something nice about the festival. So what do you feel about the festival so far? And you've also attended the first festival, though it was like you just came and you went. I mean, you just did your session and you ran. And this time you're more relaxed and you've spent some more time. So what do you feel to begin with about the venue and the ambience?
Well, really, it is a delightful festival. Shinie, and you and your team have to be credited a lot because I came the first time. You're right, it had just started. I literally came to Bangalore for 3 hours, did my session, went back. And but when I saw what was happening, I thought I must give it more time. So this time I kept at least one full day to be here. And, it's a lovely venue. At first I thought, how can it happen in a 5-star hotel? But it doesn't feel like, it doesn't have that 5-star hotel feel. It has all the beauty of a 5-star hotel, but it's a very open venue, a lot of green space. I mean, at least in Mumbai, if I see this, I feel like you could have a suburb of Mumbai in this plot. So for me, just to see so much open space is a treat. And it's almost one of the best venues possible for a festival. And it's a very special time for me because in 5 days, I have a new book coming, and it's after 3 years I've written a novel. So this kind of preps me up, because now I'll be doing a lot of these things from 1st October onwards. But this is the last moment before the release. So I'll be most relaxed, not in a selling mode and in a more conversational mode. And I think just everything so far has been perfect. Even when you approached me to have a different topic for the session, that I thought was very interesting because mostly wherever I go, people ask me the same things. But how come you came up, I want to ask you a question and then you can ask all the questions. How come you came up with this topic, full wives to half girlfriend?
I thought, I really was struggling to come up with something that you've not spoken about before. You are quite a public person, and I think one of the very few authors who meets his fans halfway, more than halfway, and still people can't get enough of you.
What to do
How
now?
does that happen?
They can actually. They sometimes have too much of me. But there are different kinds of writers, and LitFest is a great way to see how different writers can be. There is no one writer type. And I write about real people. And if I write, unlike a fantasy novelist or a crime novelist, I write about ordinary lives, ordinary middle-class lives. So for that, I have to be out there living that life, being involved with people, not running away from them. And that makes me a little more visible. And I think I do have good marketing skills. People say that. So, and maybe that's part of the reason you hear about me more than other writers. Most people here who are literary experts will agree that Chetan is not the best writer, but Chetan is the best-selling writer. So it's okay. I don't have to be the best. As long as I'm best-selling, I'm okay. I'm just being honest. When I come to a literary festival and I see the wonderful work people are doing, then I realize, okay, yeah, you really are not the best. It's a very humbling experience. Only best-selling.
So in the light of your title, which I think excited many full people,
Yeah.
you know, half girlfriend, and your movie this year, Two States,
Which was on my own.
about your marriage and how you met Anusha. I thought we would go into that space. All the women in your head, in your books, in your imagination, and in your life.
Yeah. So when Shinie told me this session is going to be about, no matter how many functions you do for the last 20 years, this mic thing always happens, right? They've not been able to come up with a technology where the mic doesn't make its presence felt. What to do? What to do? Can we move? Wait, just pause it. Can you, something is, no, this, so, what many of you may not know, or if you've read my books, always in the acknowledgements, there is the first line is Shinie Antony's name in all the books, including Half Girlfriend, because she's my first editor of all the books. And it's not just wife or Half Girlfriend, actually women run my life. Most people who know publishing, media, all these industries are basically run by women today. I have never had a male editor for any of my books, which has its advantages and disadvantages. And almost everybody in PR, everybody in my office, people helping me, Aisha's helping me. Everybody is, so they have made me, and it's something about her topic that really interested me, and I've never done the women in Chetan Bhagat's books. So yeah, I really am looking forward to this session. Now we have promised them the moon. Now we better do something good here, huh? So what do you want to start with? Which woman do you want to start with the first?
Are you a ladies' man?
Am I? Am I a ladies' man? I don't think I'm a man. And I don't think so. I think I'm just a little more relaxed than, actually it doesn't take a lot for men to be appreciated by women. Because in our country there is so much of the sexist behavior that if a man just treats women normally as human beings, every woman feels he's a wonderful guy. So that's all I do. I just treat them as human beings and normal, and that seems to do the job. Besides, my really good looks really help. But that's God-given. I can't do anything about it, Looks definitely help.
Thank you, Chetan. Okay, we'll begin with your wife, Anusha, who was played by Alia Bhatt in Two States. Is everything shown in the movie true to life? Or is there anything that was adapted or changed? Yeah. Yeah, please play the video of...
Okay. Something happened? Somebody unplugged something over there?
So let me just ask you... did you have any girlfriends before her? How did you meet her? What's the first thing you noticed about her? And is she your muse? And have you stopped looking at other women?
That's a loaded question, Shiny. Did I have girlfriends before my wife? Yes. What do you mean? It's not a crime. She's like gasping. Oh my God. Not that many, but you know, I thought they are my girlfriends. Many of them may not have thought so. But, but in my head, I've made many girlfriends or half girlfriends. And then I met Anusha, and I mean, you have to say I noticed her intellect and all, but I just really saw she has a great figure. No, I'm joking. Actually, she was in IMA and very lost. She had come from Delhi University. I had still come from an IIT, which was a very institute with a lot of rigor. So I knew that I am also, you have to study a lot. But she had come from Delhi University, and she was what they call a very cool kind of girl. So she got very intimidated by the studies at IMA. And I just saw her like really lost in that environment. And I knew that there is a person in her which was cool and fun, and now she's getting bogged down, and that's how our friendship began. And I like smart women. I mean, I don't know why, but for me, it's a very big turn on. If a woman has a brain, it's very nice. And if she has other things, then even nicer. But for me, it's a successful woman, a driven woman, a passionate woman. And I'm not judging those who are not, you know, that's okay. Everybody has their own preference. But for me, it's a very big turn on. And I've always admired women who go for it and everything. And I think she was one of those. She had cleared IIM in the first attempt. And she's one of the smartest women I had met. So that's how it happened. And of course, I never knew that one day it'll become into a book and a movie and, you know.
There's a startling resemblance, you know, between the two of them.
Yeah, Alia Bhatt does resemble Anusha, and that's very shocking. But when Anusha was in college, and it was a pure coincidence, not like... I even said, when I saw Alia's promos, I said, do you think it's time for me to upgrade? You know, and she said, as long as I get Arjun Kapoor, I'm okay. So I don't think Arjun and Alia were that interested though. So, you know, she's been a friend of mine, and she's still there, and she actually has been quite an incredible journey for her too, because she married a banker. And already there was resistance because my in-laws are Tamil Brahmin, and they got a Punjabi damad, which itself was a big setback. And then the damad quits banking job to become a writer. It's like a double dhokha of sorts. And, you know...
Then first he describes their house as looking like a Punjabi house which is recently been robbed.
That's true. It does look like that. But so they saw all that. And I think Anusha's seen her husband become a banker to a writer to all these other things that I do. And she's kind of been there. And she's seen me as a student also. She's seen me at IMA when I didn't have the money to maybe buy Coke or anything. And I think, so she's always been a constant factor in my life. And maybe because of the women I like or whatever, but almost every woman character in my book, they're not like Anusha, of course, but they do have qualities like intelligence, driven, passionate, bold, and those are the women in my books you'll find.
But when you're married to the same person for a long time and you've dated her before that, all these qualities, you don't notice them after a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, someone's attractive, someone is very intelligent, articulate. My husband used to make me sing all the time when we were not married. And now I can't even hum. He's like, what's that noise, you know? So things change after you're married and you've lived with someone for quite some time. So what is the one quality...
This is getting really personal now. Shiny, I'm so sorry about that. I mean...
Yeah, it's a very tragic fact.
You don't have to sing to him.
I usually don't talk about it in
So he
public.
doesn't want you to sing? Why? What's... I mean...
I think I sing too well.
Okay, this is Abhiman happening, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, your husband is not here right now, so it's not fair that you keep talking about him.
I just wanted to ask you,
no,
what is the one quality about her that you've noticed right from the beginning and till now that's been constant?
I think her groundedness, that is something I note even now. Yes, you're right. that, okay, you know, first time I saw her in college and I'm like, oh, nice legs. I'm not going to do that 20 years later, of course. But
You
I'm,
can do
I'm
that,
kidding.
but it would be a lie.
I can, and they're still nice. Okay, but that's not the point. I'm just joking. But the one quality she has is that she wants to be Anusha Bhagat. She doesn't, not that she's not proud of my, but Mrs. Chetan Bhagat is not her aspiration in life. And she has been, and she had twin boys, and she kept on working. And she's chief operating officer of UBS. And there she's Anusha Bhagat. And I think now 1 month ago she said, Chetan, I want to leave now, mainly for the kids. And even with the kids, she has made sure that they don't get the feeling that they are like somebody different or anything. She doesn't like get swayed. We live right in the heart of Bollywood, right in Bandra, and she doesn't let the kids get affected by it. My kids even today will be more excited by a Bill Gates than a Salman Khan, which is tough for kids who are 10, you know, because they are seeing superstars on TV. And that's because of Anusha, because that Tamil Brahmin in her will not let the kids get away with anything, you know. So you have to study, you have to do well, you have to focus on your work, clean your room, everything. You get no privileges out of the ordinary. And that quality I still note, because it really is her. I mean, she doesn't, and if she likes a person, she will talk to them. If she doesn't like them, even if, and sometimes I say, no, he's a big producer, he's a big director, he's a big actor, you better be nice to them. She is okay, but she will not get swayed based on social status, popularity. She makes her own judgment of people she likes, people she doesn't. And that's really nice to have someone like that at home, you know, especially for me. If I had a wife who's also getting swayed, starstruck by actors and all, I'll be losing myself. So that's something I still note about her.
Okay, we'll move on to the women in your books.
Yes.
Can we have the video?
बियर है?
तुम साउथ इंडियन नहीं हो?
तमिलियन। मैं शुद्ध ब्राह्मण हाउसहोल्ड से हूँ।
दिख रहा है।
एक रात की कहानी है, 6 लोगों की। ये ऐसा वैसा फोन नहीं था। उस रात भगवान का फोन आया था।
गूगल के पास हर चीज का जवाब मिल जाएगा, लेकिन इसका नहीं। मेरी लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी ट्रेजेडी।
ये शाइना भी कैसा लड़का लेके आ रही है?
We all know about two states, you know, it's based on the real life character. But what about the others like Neha, Vidya, and Riya of Half Girlfriend? Are they all based on real people?
They are somewhat based on all the women I've met, and like
But Neha, is there a character who dumped you like Neha did?
now it's getting too much.
And is there someone like Riya who's been your half girlfriend?
I don't think it's not as much as that. It is, like I said, I get inspired by smart women who are driven, and I try to put that in my characters. It's almost, I know now that millions of youngsters are reading my books, and including millions of girls are reading my books. So I want to give them fictional role models. Girls who are like them, they relate to the girl from a middle class background, but they're different. They are very opinionated, they're very strong, they all have dreams. Everybody wants to become something in life. And I've tried to, if you notice, a lot of the girls wear spectacles and are like intelligent and are doing professions, like somebody's a doctor, somebody is a psychiatrist. Like I remember Kick, which was a Telugu film's base we took to, I wrote the screenplay. And in the Telugu film, there was Elena, and she didn't have any, they didn't show in the movie what she does. Like, she was just there to like the hero, basically. She did yoga in one scene, but that's it. She was just moving around the guy was chasing her, she was just a prop. And when the Hindi came, I said, I can't write like that. I have to know this character, and I can't put a girl like that because I don't understand those girls. The only girls I've liked or met are in my life they all have dreams, which every girl has. So Kick was a story about a guy who lives for his kick. He gets an adrenaline rush. So I said it'll be great for a guy like this, addicted to adrenaline, to be paired with a girl who's a psychiatrist. So I made Jacqueline, previous film was Race 2, I think, with Lat Lag Gayi and all those songs. So we turned Jacqueline into a psychiatrist, and whatever extent we could. We couldn't really go deep into it because it's a Salman Khan movie. But that was my little contribution to the women's movement. That no woman in my story will be like a prop. There will always be characters, always driving the story. If you see Kai Poche, it's Vidya's idea to have a relationship with that boy. So everything is driven by the women in the stories. And Half Girlfriend, of course, is the most, because it's almost the title of the book is named after girl. The Ria is the half girlfriend. And that's also a girl who's very strong-willed, independent to the point that she will withdraw from a person if she finds a little bit of, I don't want to say too much. But again, so that journey continues. Strong, opinionated, career-oriented women will dominate my stories.
Do you have a personal favorite among your heroines? Would you say there's one character who's really strong, or maybe with feminist undertones?
I like them all. But I think the latest one is always the one closest to me, because that book has been with me so much. You and I have been, you've read it how many times? I don't know, 12 times, and I've read it too many times. So for me, Ria right now is the closest character. It's a very complex character. I've not attempted a character like that who's a little reserved. All my girls, people were saying, all your girls are becoming too bubbly, too effervescent. So I said,
she's also the tallest, I think.
She's the tallest, yeah, she's a very tall girl. And so I just modeled her differently, a little more quieter than the girls. It's a little more emotional story. So I think that character, let me see now how people react to that.
Someone told me that the character named Vidya, you named her Vidya because Vidya Balan told you, please name a character after me in 3 mistakes of my life.
She didn't say. Actually, what happened was, I approached Vidya to launch one of my books, and the story is that she was shooting Lagero Munna Bhai at that time. So she gave my book to Raju Hirani, who then read it, and Three Idiots happened. And it just was, what a movie it became. So I told Vidya, how do I ever thank you for it? So it was my idea. I said, I'm going to name the next book's heroine after you, Vidya. Which actually, if you look at it, that story is set in Gujarat. So Vidya is not a Gujarati name at all. But that's Vidya because of, it's my thanking her. Because she really opened my Bollywood innings. And how do you thank a person like that? So yes, and then she launched 2 states also. And she's also in a 2 states marriage. Married to a Punjabi guy, so yeah.
So that, the fact that you admitted you are the one who offered to name your heroine after her, so it brings me to my
Shinie
next question.
is difficult, okay? Shinie is difficult. Because it's not a very common name. It's a lovely name, but it's not very common for
It's not a lovely name.
Why? I love the name.
Yeah, but it would have been odd if I was called Chetna or something.
Easier for the... It depends on the story. Yeah, maybe one day. Shaina I did.
Yeah,
I did Shaina and Kick.
You came very close to my name.
Okay, I should have said I've done it after you, but damn, missed that chance. Okay.
So since you've admitted that, I just want to ask you, have you become a Bollywood groupie?
Why do you say that?
Are you like all over Bollywood? Are you very attracted to Bollywood? And please show the video.
Okay, so I know you've picked out some selfies and shown them here. Two, three, it doesn't mean no. The answer is no. I'm not such a Bollywood person also. But there are two reasons why you see this a little bit. One is, any engineers here? Any? Oh my God, Bangalore, of course. What do you expect? So any guy who has been in an engineering college has to realize how hard and scarce women are. Yes or no? I mean, it's like I have grown up in Rajasthan and now I land in Cherrapunji in Bollywood, basically like that, okay? So for us, we grew up like seeing like these actresses and now suddenly I get to work with them. So I will go a little crazy. There is no, all of you will, yes or no? Yes. So, but I'm not as crazy because of various reasons, because I am also a professional and I know that some of this is just like, you know, you have to work with them. It's a career. I make one or two career mistakes. So therefore I keep a distance. I may have a picture with them, but it doesn't mean tomorrow they say, hey, cast me in your movie. I'm going to say it's done. I have to be in a position to tell them, sorry, no, I can't do that. Or I can't recommend you or anything. So for that, the friendships are never going to be, they're going to be half friendships. They're not going to be full friendships. And if you notice, these pictures have come related to like some movie. So the Jacqueline doing my makeup picture is during Kick, because we had to promote it differently also. Of course, it's a Salman Khan movie, so everything Salman Khan is there. But we had to also bring in other elements to excite people about the movie, so we did this. And the Alia selfie was taken at a 2 states launch, the movie launch. So it's not like I'm sitting at home bored at 4 o'clock and I say, hey Alia, what are you doing? Come, let's get some selfies. It doesn't work like that. She's working, she's very busy, and I'm very busy. And in fact, it's quite hard sometimes, even for a promotional stuff, we have to meet. I mean, there is a 3-4 people in layers of people involved, and then they fix a meeting. And then we all smile like, hey, selfie. And it looks like we were just hanging out in Cafe Coffee Day or something. So it's strategic, is what briefly I would say. All this is more strategic than you think. But a little bit of the engineering college boy in me enjoys it also, of course. You know, I go back to IIT Delhi and I show these pictures and say, okay, some of my alumnus from IIT have opened billion-dollar companies in Silicon Valley, right? They're like billion-dollar companies. Flipkart is opened by IITD guys. But I can go to them and show my picture with Alia. Say, ab bolo. You know, kind of levels the field, doesn't it? I mean, what do you do with the billions? What do you do with the billions? You can't take them, right? It's who you, you know, I'll take them if the Bansals want to give. I can arrange a selfie. But so yeah, I enjoy it. But like I said, it's all strategic. So it's not what I have selfies with other people which you've not put here, like with Bill Gates I took, and with Modi also, Prime Minister Modi I have. But of course, those don't make interesting viewing here. So this is not a very lit fest type session, no? Are you happy about it? Or yeah, are you okay with that? Okay.
You really thought they'd say no?
They could actually. But you know, somebody has to bring down the level so that others look good.
Very rarely do storytellers become the story, like you do most of the time. And I'm very happy to see that newspapers that have headlines of your, really, you know, they trivialize your book or they tear into your book and they say, time to hang up Mr. Bhagat. And you are writing...
The critics.
The critics. And now they're writing, I mean, you are writing for these papers. Can we have a video on the critic rants?
After Bollywood, it's critics now.
That he's a hateful little third-rate person who's literally worth his zero and whatever, and so they sneer at him all the time and put him down. They say he can't write English, blah blah blah. You should see the kind of rock star status that he's given. There's no point in us sneering at him and saying, but who reads Chetan Bhagat? Have you read Chetan Bhagat? I don't read Chetan Bhagat. Who cares whether you read it?
Have you read him?
No.
No, but you still need to talk.
So it's not all Alia Bhatt in my life. Yes, so, you know, critics, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know there were critics also when I started writing, actually. So I can't really say. And there is a lot of people who like my books and work, and I'm very lucky. But there is a section. I mean, they don't like it. Now, what to do? I sometimes feel very odd. It's like I have this restaurant which is packed with people, and everybody's eating and licking their fingers. And there's some guy standing outside and saying, the food here is not good. It's not good. It's not good. And I don't know. I try very hard, but I think it used to affect me a lot. Like the example you gave of Times of India once gave a big headline at one night at a call center, "Time to hang up Mr. Bhagat." But I didn't hang up. And a few years later, they came and said, would you like to write our editorial pages for us? I'm like, but you remember that article? Oh, that journalist, we let him go now. Well, it was an independent book reviewer, so he was not a TOI guy. But, it's part of life, and I'm nobody to say that I'm very good and you don't know. They genuinely don't like it. Maybe it doesn't work for them. But I wish it worked for them, but you can't please everybody. And we all human beings have a tendency to focus on people who don't like you. Like if you go to a party, 50 people say you're wearing a nice dress, and the 51st person says, what is this stupid dress? You will keep thinking about the 51st person. But actually you should think of the 50 people more. So I should listen to the critics. If they make some sense, take some feedback, and I have. You know it. When we are editing the book this time, how much we are scared. You yourself tell me, Chetan, better do it right. If you do one mistake, they'll come behind you like villagers with flaming torches. So we try. But at the same time, my main responsibility to you is for millions of readers who have pre-ordered Half Girlfriend. They better be happy. So they are there. I acknowledge them, but they are not priority number one for me. And then there's another category called haters, which has now come up because of Twitter. Yeah, I heard you have a video for that too. Can we have the haters video? Because there's critics and then there are haters, because Twitter haters. Well, the day Half Girlfriend name was announced, 5th of August, the Twitter was full of tweets, passing judgments on the book. The book is not released yet, actually, but these tweets have already reviewed the book. And this is what I categorize as haters. Critics are still people who will give a balanced view, that kind of expert judgment, but haters are people who are going to just try to find a negative, whether or not there are. And Twitter allows, it's not just me. Anybody who's remotely popular gets it. Right from very, very popular people like Obama to Shah Rukh to almost any smallest person on Twitter with somewhat who's a public figure gets hate. So this is something, again, it's part of life now, and every day it comes. You have to again scan it, but the way I deal with it is the same way I deal with praise. I think if you don't let praise affect you, you will not let hate affect you. And I read through it, and out of 100, one good point I find somewhere, but 99 of them are just nonsense. I try to laugh it off. I try to make sure that it's just fun, because it can almost just stop me from working to my full potential. It can bog me down so much. But this is a very small world, and social media, is sometimes not very representative what's out there, because we tend to follow the same people, and it's all one big group, and so you feel that way. So, like I said, it's there, and my writing doesn't work for some people. My approach doesn't work for some people. My goals of writing are very different from others. My goal is to reach maximum Indians. The fact that I do a movie like Kick clearly is to reach the super masses. And then once they do that, then they will read my columns, they will read my politics, they will do all that. And that's what I'm all about. Now, I can try and explain that, but if they judge me on some other parameter, they're not going to like what they see. So that's also my reality. So take the good and the bad.
I remember, when I once got a really bad review, and you said, that means you've arrived. Because every time you get a bad review, you feel very cherished and pampered, that these people really set aside the time to tear apart your work.
You've evoked something in them. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. If someone is hating you, they are putting energy in hating you. If you really don't love someone, like if a girl doesn't like you, it's not like she'll send you hate messages. She'll just stop calling and messaging you, right? So, but if she's calling you and messaging you that you're so bad, clearly there are still emotions left there. So, this is the same with anybody who sees your work. If they have really ranted out on you, that means somewhere it pricked them, a raw nerve somewhere. I'm not saying that means your work is good or not, but it means it has the power to impact people. Some reaction it can create.
You've also written a lot of columns on women. You recently wrote on Mary Com, Mr. Mary Com and her husband. You've written about Cocktail and can you show the video? Ask you what you make out of this recent controversy with Deepika Padukone's cleavage taking prime time. It was circled and pointed, and Deepika said, yes, I'm a woman and I have a cleavage. And she also wrote FB posts and criticizing the zoom in. So what do you think of this whole thing?
I'm really stuck in the middle of this because I work in Bollywood, but I also write for TOI. And I don't know, but one thing is very clear. If a woman has taken offense to it, you can't argue. If she doesn't like it, she doesn't like it. There is no rational justification. If she's felt offended, she's felt offended. Yeah, all you have to do is say sorry and say, okay, maybe things went out of hand. I think this, and I'm no expert on this, is that it was a taste issue. The article was done in very bad taste. There are articles every day in every publication on India's sexiest actresses, and there are item numbers done by Bollywood, which has nothing to do with the media, which are showing women in a very objectifying kind of manner. And you could argue that if you have little daughters at home, they are seeing these girls who are supposed to be our role models, and you can have that endless moral discussion. I personally don't morally think it's an issue. I think people are free to do whatever they want as long as there is a censor board who's checking things. That's fine. So it wasn't a moral issue. It was that this girl had, and let's forget that it's Deepika, this girl had felt offended as a woman when her body part was labeled like that. I think she has the right to, and I think anybody would be, right? And to say that, but what TOI did was they went on responding that you have shown your cleavage so many times. That's not the point, right? You can't say, you are doing this, so we'll do this to you. So I think that all that was needed there was a small apology. And it was a matter of taste. It was not a moral issue. But I think some people, for TOI also, they are enjoying the attention. I don't know what was the issue there. Because I think we shouldn't do it. I think it's you can have entertaining news without pointing arrows at women's body parts. I feel like you can just make a policy. You can say, we'll say whatever, we'll gossip about you, we'll link you up with fake boyfriends. Okay, fine. But pointing body parts, I mean, would you dare do it to a female politician? No way, right? Because your publication is going to close down the next day. So why are you doing this to a soft target? right? So I think one simple apology, and there's no one TOI, right? That's the other thing. People often, you've worked in a newspaper, and there's literally hundreds of people working in one newspaper, churning it out on a daily basis. So somebody out there, went out of hand. One guy, some sub-editor, somewhere went crazy and said, okay, I'll do this. But that doesn't mean the editor-in-chief of TOI approves of that. And that's all they needed to say, that listen, okay, we are sorry. This is not something we wanted to do. In fact, what I understand is those feeds came from some other site. It's some complicated internet thing where TOI is not giving that content. It's a sourced content. But the way they went attacking her, it was totally unwarranted, I feel. But I hope it doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Where do you think the Indian woman stands globally, politically, domestically?
I think there's a long way to go. If you ask pan-India, if you talk this crowd, it's pretty empowered and it's different. You're not representative of the pan-India median of women. I think there's a very long way to go, and it really bothers me. As a society, it's very sexist. And even at a national level, now the Prime Minister is saying we must bring India to full potential. So every resource has to be optimized, and women are half our human resource. But if we kind of not deny them the opportunities, if we, just treat them not at par with the opportunities men get, I think it's not right. And we are not tackling that. I feel like either there is this extreme Western inspired feminism which is coming in, which applies to only 0.1 or 1% of female population, and they are looking at some really major empowerment, or there is nothing, or women have no say. So the median Indian women's feminist movement has not come yet. And for example, even it's role of the mother-in-law. I mean, sometimes women can be women's worst enemies in that way, that a mother-in-law will oppress a daughter-in-law. And why is that happening? And what are we doing to end it? And when will our mother-in-laws actually want their daughter-in-laws to do well? Yeah, I've written about it. And I think that's where if you ask me, pan-India, that's where the needle lies right now. Not in very evolved feminism, which is, I understand what that is, but that's not our society today. And I'm slowly trying to work on it. All these articles you saw are on women, on various kinds, trying to address the issues. And I think when a man does it, it's more effective. Women keep screaming, give us rights, so it's expected. But when a man does it, it has 10 times bigger effect. And we must, little things, it needs to happen in every household. It's not something the government can fix with a law. It's not something the PM can fix. It's something that we have to give women the human treatment, that they are human beings, your daughters, your things, not discriminate, not, So we have a very long way to go.
The men in the family.
Men in the family, but also the women. Let's not only make it a men versus men issue. Feminism has a lot to do with the concept of who has the power. The mother-in-law often has the power in the household, and she can really, if she stands up for her daughter-in-law, if every mother-in-law in the country stands up for her daughter-in-law, the women's rights will become okay much faster. If the mother-in-law, because the sons are dominating the wives, husbands are dominating wives, fine. But we all know that the son's mother has a huge say on the son.
Yeah, which is why I said the woman first probably needs to start work with the little men in the house, right?
Yeah, you mean little boys? Yes, I think so. And I think we have a long way to go there, and it's almost a separate discussion only.
No, but you've started because you've got 2 twin boys, and
I have started.
You're doing a good job.
I'm trying, and I think they see me as the role model because I was at home for last 5-6 years. My wife used to go to work every day. Initially, when they were very young, they used to say, "Dad, why do you stay at home and Mama goes to office? All my friends have the opposite." So I said, "Does Superman go to office? Does Spider-Man go to office?" Because that's the language they understood then. Now slowly they realize that it's different, and I don't even want men to say, "Oh, women and us are equal." It's like, I feel like when someone keeps saying, "Oh, I'm secular," I feel, why does he have to say it if he's secular? That's my secularism, for example. I don't have to tell you 10 times, "Listen, I'm very secular." Even Muslims are welcome to attend my session. I mean, that itself is a very strange kind of statement. But that's what our politicians do, I'm for like, if you, and to keep on saying, I'm for equal rights, even women are equal to me. I don't want the thought to cross my head. I don't want to think that way. That I have to, for me, there really needs to be instinctively no difference. I want my sons to not think that there is any superiority in them. In office, if they are working with a woman, if they have, I don't want them to think we are men, you know, we are the boys' club. I don't want that to come to them. And that is what is true feminism. That is what is true equal rights, where you don't have to come and do lip service every day. If you truly are secular, the thought will not cross your mind. If you are truly a feminist, the thought of women and men being different will not cross your mind. I don't think at all that I have a female moderator or a male moderator or things, but or I just signed the movie deal for Half Girlfriend with Ekta. Ekta Kapoor is the only female producer. I just saw her for her capabilities. I think she's amazing and she'll do something to it which others can't. But if I start saying now I'm a feminist, I've given it to a woman to make, I found it hypocritical. So I think if you really don't discriminate, it doesn't come to your head. So we have a long way to go from there.
Okay, so we come to Half Girlfriend.
Yes, Half Girlfriend.
And we have the video.
Struggling as an actor, try becoming a top actor in the country. It teaches you a lot more about life, and it's a human resource ministry. Laborers come under it. So what kind of an unwarranted attack is this? And I know they've lost an election, but come on guys, be a sport. You know, she's pretty articulate, she's very impressive, I think. And I mean, I don't know her personally, but I'm just saying this just sounds like so many holes in this argument, and I don't know why they're doing it.
On an affidavit.
Ragini, listen to Chetan.
Can I say something?
Facts. It's not a trivial
Miss
issue to be
Ragini,
listen to
sidelined
Chetan.
or brushed under the carpet.
Listen
Can
to
you
Chetan.
listen to me?
Listen to, yes.
One of the things
I
about
will.
being
I am.
educated is listening to others. Listen.
Yes, please.
One of the things
We
about
can't
being
hear
educated is
Ragini
listening to
because
others
she's
and not
shouting so much.
No.
We can't make out what she's
Yeah,
saying.
you're shouting and you're talking about being educated. One of the things about being educated is listening to others and not monopolize the debate. So I think that is what education should teach you. Anyway, leave that aside. One of the things everybody seems to be saying.
Sorry, there was another, this is politics. There was a question on politics and the Half Girlfriend comes later. So
So how do you talk like that to a lady?
So sometimes I talk in these horror shows, and I guess the point here is, it is scary. Kids should not watch it, and it is even scarier to be there. But this is where all the stuff I'm doing, all the popular stuff I'm doing, all the Bollywood selfies you see, this is why, because ultimately, I get known and then people will read my column or listen to my views because they saw a movie of mine or they read a book of mine. And that is what today makes it meaningful for me. Selling some more books or having another hit movie, have been there, done that. So it doesn't do it for me, it doesn't give me the kick. But this gives me the kick. And here I was defending Smriti actually. This was a debate on when Smriti was not a graduate and she was made the HRD minister. And you know, sometimes I get it wrong. I'm not like the smartest guy on this planet. But I feel I can contribute my popularity in this way, into making India a little more sensible. Very few educated celebrities are there in our country for some strange reason. But now, by mistake, that I have become somewhat noticed, then I can contribute my thoughts and it can make a difference. So this is where it all adds up to. And yes, it's all Alia Bhatt and it's all love stories and it's all women in my books. But it's for this reason I do it. And this is what I wanted to tell you before we get into Half Girlfriend, so that this is what it's all about. This is my strategy. It may be right, it may be wrong, but it has gotten me somewhere. So, you know, life goes on. And now we can see Half Girlfriend. Okay, so, this is Half Girlfriend, which comes in 5 days. But this time I've done a story on a boy who can't speak English well. And the biggest challenge for me, and even for an editor like you, was the person writing the book doesn't speak English well. So, and he's writing an English book. I thought it's a big challenge, and it's going to be different this time. And I hope people will relate to this story, because it's become a big issue in India, the English. I did a little survey of girls, and in Delhi there was a show, and 100% of girls said they will not date a guy who doesn't speak English. He could be the really nice guy, very intelligent, very smart, but if he doesn't speak English, I won't date him. I could have called it Half Boyfriend also, but it doesn't matter. But it's a first person narration, so it's that guy telling the story. So it's from his point of view, it's a half girlfriend. But I could have, yeah. So that's what it's about. But I want to ask you, Shinie, was it hard when you came around to editing this book? Because the boy doesn't speak good English.
Can you, recreate or say that sentence that Madhav says for the first time? He's in St. Stephen's, he's finding his way around, and then he's repeating it to the narrator, and he says, this is how I said it then, and this is what I meant. Do you remember that sentence?
I don't remember the sentence.
हमको बतलाइएगा interview की कहाँ हो रहा है Bhojpuri, yeah. So yes, I did think that, how does that sentence get spoken? But the thing is, now I want to add my 2 bits here and say that all of Chetan's books, he's one of those very few Indian writers in English who's able to carry plot twists and carry the story forward purely with dialogue. I find that very difficult personally, and even when I'm reading, it's always easier for a writer to say, this had happened, and when we come to huge things, we just try and put it in a past tense because it's easier to speak that way. But Chetan has never shied away from making it witty. I think 2 States, 5 Point Someone, and so many of his books, they, if you just tell him, इस chapter में थोड़ा और wit is needed, he would just get back to you in a day, and it would be much more funny than it was during the previous read. And I feel comedy is a very, very tragic matter, in the sense that the more you think about your punchlines, the more you're unable to deliver. So that's the thing, that I feel you've kept up with that tradition of being witty and carrying your story forward purely with dialogue.
Well, you've been a big help, and dialogue is my strength, and I get the maximum flack for that only, because people say, what is this English? But we don't speak proper English in India. If I'm capturing an Indian story, if a boy from Bihar has come to Stephen's College and finding his way, he will speak in a certain way, which will not be correct English. Now to read that and say, oh, look how Chetan writes. But I have to be true to the character. I have to be, if the character is dumb or deaf, I'll make him dumb and deaf. It doesn't mean I'm dumb and deaf. So that is where a lot of misconception happens about my books, and that dialogue connects to people because it's what they call an ear for dialogue. I think I don't have many strengths as a writer, but dialogue is my strength, and maybe that's why it lends itself so well to Bollywood, because they just literally, if you see 2 States, there were so many things that they just took it straight, because they feel they almost don't need to get a dialogue writer because they just take it. So, but it's hard especially for this book, because the boy doesn't speak good English, but then we played that technique of he's writing it retrospectively and things like that. So yeah, let's see what happens. So my journey continues. It's getting harder and harder because there's only so many stories to do, and the expectations keep multiplying with every book. But my first test is her, and she can't hide her reaction. She's seen me when I was an unpublished author, and she'll tell me like it is. Like she had told me long back, like one night at a call center, she said, is your weakest book. And that is what the assessment has been across millions of people. That will come lowest. And this one she loved, so thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much, and congratulations on making such a big festival. And now we have some time.
Yeah. How long do we have to have a Q&A with people? How long do we have?
We have some time. 5 minutes.
Can someone take the mic around? Can someone take the mic? Who would like to ask a question? Okay, the gentleman in black shirt.
Yeah, Chetan, my name is Jagdish. I just want to ask you, is it a coincidence or you believe big time in numerology? Because all your titles have numbers, 1 night, 2 states, 3 mistakes,
Half.
5 point, half, revolution 2020.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this much. Hello? Yeah, I can come here. There something happens. Obviously, when I've done it so many times, then it's not a coincidence. But it's not numerology either. It's just that I have a banking engineering background. So this is my trademark. So to never forget, I lived my life in Microsoft Excel. So they were numbers in engineering. There were numbers in finance, in banking, and then now it's Microsoft Word. So it's just a memory of that. And it makes you remember all my books. How many authors can you remember all the books? The numbers act like a mnemonic and you just repeated the names of all my books. So that means it reminds you, memory wise. So.
Yeah, hi Chetan, this is Shobhana. This is pretty sure that you have caught the imagination of youngsters and kids as well as the elders. And in all your books, you're creating a social message and trying to create a social revolution. It is not just entertainment in your books. So where do you see yourself 5 years down the line, still writing more great books or doing something more to improve the society in this country?
I don't know actually. And I get confused myself, because there is no benchmark, there's no person I can see that say, okay, I want to be like 5 years back. If you asked me, where do I see myself? I didn't have a good answer. But I am enjoying what I'm doing right now. So I think this current role will remain. I will keep a balance between books and films. I will keep writing columns. And I think this role will remain, but I'll slow it down a bit. If you ask me, honestly, I feel the need to slow it down. This year has been very hectic for me with Kick, 2 states, and now this Half Girlfriend. So 3 releases, it takes a big toll on you to be out there. So I will take a year of I know it sounds like a lot, but I need a year to just focus on the family, on myself, on my friends, and figure out what I really want. And I'll go in that direction. It's not so much about achievement anymore. It's more about my inner spiritual growth now. So that's what I'll focus on. And I don't know where that will take me. I really don't know. So. Yeah.
Chetan, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed this session. I thought
Thank
you're
you.
very
I think big hand to Shinie for that.
Yeah.
She's pretty good, right? She was so nervous. My God, I can't tell you.
Right.
You did a good job, Shinie.
You did too, I think.
Thank you.
And it was very witty, unassuming, and you're very grounded, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to ask you this question in the same manner, in a very relaxed way, is when do you think you'll hit your 40s? Which means that you've written a lot of stories about youngsters, falling in love, this, that, the other, sharing tea, and all that stuff. But, once you get on older in life, is there no love for those people? I mean, and also, people who have all this vast experience behind them, sometimes it's even more fun to do romance for people in their 30s and 40s because it's more subtle and it's more deep and, it's more experiential. It's very interesting. And I wanted to see if you wanted to hit that at some point.
I need to have, I just turned 40, so let's see how colorful they are. I don't mind, I might do it. I mean, there's nothing like that. But, when I was young, a book could really influence me. I found that's the age where a book, you really read it and it changes you. So that's very tempting for a writer. I have that constituency, and there's a lot of people there where I've still not reached. I've reached young people, but for example, I've not reached rural India yet. And I know it sounds like a tall order, but I want to reach there. That is why Half Girlfriend is a rural story. I want to reach the slums. I want every slum kid in India to read English books. Because if they do, then they'll pick up Chetan Bhagat, no? So, I know it sounds crazy, but I've done pretty crazy things and I know that needs to happen. So, but I have no problem doing a 40s or a senior citizen story or even a kid's story, for example. But the inspiration has to hit me. But right now I feel there is so much to be done in terms of reaching people who have never picked up a book, making them pick up a book. But I will do it. But let me live my 30s and 40s, because I look back at my young times and I can write. You need experience to look back. If you asked me to write 2 states when I got married, I was so stressed at my in-laws, I couldn't have looked at it with a sense of humor. But 10 years, because they were like, any Tamil Brahmins here? There's always Tamil Brahmins at Lit Fest. So they are like the purest of pure community, right? So they were very concerned that daughter is marrying a Punjabi, and I could feel it. They are so pure, in terms of the caste system. They felt like they were not sure if she marries a Punjabi, the kids are going to be humans or cows will come out or what will happen. So from there, I couldn't have written that story. I couldn't have made jokes like this then. But after 10 years, you can laugh at it. And so same, I think once I get a little older, I'll see my 30s and 40s differently. So then it'll happen. You need time to make you neutral. Right now I'm too involved. So yeah, last 2-3 questions because there are other sessions here. Yeah. These mics are all over the place, man, today. Yeah. Shout. No.
Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Sunana. I'm based in Boston, actually. And last year I quit my job in IT and I'm full-time writing. So a lot of times when I told my parents and they were like, "Kyun, kya hua?" So writing is still not a lucrative field. A lot of times people ask me if they should quit job and do writing full-time. What do you think is the best way to deal with that? And
no, you shouldn't. Because until it becomes somewhat, because it's not, but writing can also mean a lot of things. If you want to, you can, but maybe just books is not so lucrative for most people. But you can, if you're open to writing for articles and corporate brochures, to ad agencies, to TV, to anything, this, if you expand your horizon, then maybe it's possible to be a freelance and do it. But it's also perfectly fine to do writing on the side and have a job, but don't have a very busy job. Just take a less busy job. I think that also works. But then do it only after you really are ready. I didn't do it so soon. That's my take. Yes.
Hi Chetan, this is Gaurav, and I wish to ask a question on once you started writing the columns for Times of India. I read your book, What Young India Wants, and you have given some various suggestions over there about the society improvement. One of the suggestions which I liked was there's so much of government property in Delhi. You mentioned all of them can be shifted to Noida and Gurgaon. I mean, you can raise millions of dollars from there. When you met Narendra Modi, did you ever suggest that?
Wow, yaar, it's not that simple, no? Abhi Prime Minister bane ho, chalo ghar khali karo. No, I think, listen, I mean, it's not like, firstly, it's not like I'm on like, oh, he's my buddy and but there is definitely, the concept is there of releasing some government land to generate revenues and reduce government debt and improve, its concept is there. And these things don't often happen by just suggestion. You have to build a consensus around it. You have to have more and more, like you talked about it, so many people heard about it. And it has happened in other countries like Indonesia and all. They have done it. It's not like they make the MPs stay badly. They make really nice apartments with full security, but they are high rises, and they move them a little bit away. And they have all the facilities in the world. So it's not like I'm saying MPs should live. I'm not talking in that way, that they should live in ordinary homes. We should give them very good homes. But a lot of that land that they occupy is too much. So that's what it is. But you have only so many silver bullets with the senior people. So I can't go to him and say, hey, hi, congrats on being Prime Minister. But by the way, that house, I mean, seriously. But there are other things. There are other suggestions also I have in that book, like education system. Always go to people and tell them what they can do without affecting them first. And then move to the tougher subjects. With your boss also, I suggest the same. Don't go and say, sir, I think I can be better CEO than you are. That won't be a good business strategy. Yes. Yes. Hi, Maya.
I wanted to know the filming of this two states, apart from the financial advantage, did you also have the personal and romantic advantage, like falling in love again, you and your wife?
It was special. It was very special. Not just wife, but the entire families, you know, because now a lot of time has passed. Now there are grandkids, and it was a big. I remember I called everybody, and they all came for the first screening, and they had no idea what to expect, and they were all very moved. I mean, my mother, and at that time they were adversaries, but now they know each other. So it was really special family experience. And I remember it was at the screening at a studios, Yashra Studios, and after the screening, Alia and Arjun just came. They were just the hosts of the evening, and they had never met. They had only read the book. So I said, these are my in-laws. And they immediately touched their feet. I'm like, okay. She's like, I feel like touching their feet. I don't know why. So it was more like that. But for Anusha and me also, it was really special. It was, I mean, it's indescribable feeling to see it on. But, you know, I had done a book also. So when the book came also, it was there. But when the movie came also, it was more a family thing for us, more than just as a couple. So, yeah. We just do last two, these ladies, but a very, very short question, huh? Because I'm eating into other people's time. In fact, both of you ask at the same time, then I'll answer both together.
Okay, firstly, you're so much good looking than Arjun Kapoor, okay?
Mashallah. What is the name of this girl, yeah? Can I hire you? Wherever I go, in every talk you say this, bas. That's your job.
You could. My name is Uma and I'm a quality manager, so I ensure that all the stuff.
I don't have the hair though.
Okay. Bollywood happened later.
I'm doing the locha step now. Yeah.
Bollywood happened later, books first. So if I remember a decade back when I read your first book, it was like, oh wow, this is like watching a Bollywood masala movie minus the songs coming out of the book. So were you always so inspired about Bollywood?
Okay, and your question, I'm just going to be more efficient and take two at the same time.
So, are you going to write the sequel for Revolution 2020?
Okay. There is, maybe, I'm an Indian boy, so that filmy thinking is there in all of us. So, maybe there is some inspiration from there. But it's not like I wrote the book, I was writing on my college. So, I never thought people will make a movie about 3 boys in IIT. Who will make? So, no, the answer is no, but yeah, my style is a little filmy, maybe. I am filmy, you can see. And I will not write a sequel. I don't do sequels, even though they are guaranteed hits and bestsellers, but I feel I write for very different reason, to bring out a new problem. So, until I keep getting new stories, it excites me more. So, yeah, but no, I'm sorry, I have to end the session here.
Okay, I just want you all to tell me, what are you going to read next? Louder, what are you going to read next? One more time.
Yeah, and actually Bangalore has a very big role to play in it because Flipkart headquarters is here. So they are shipping the biggest pre-order for anything, not even books, any product category. On the 1st of October, it's a logistics, any engineer here will appreciate it. It's quite a thing. On the 1st only, lakhs of books have to be sent to homes, not before, not after. So it's all going to happen from Bangalore. And let's see what happens. And I hope you enjoy the book in the upcoming weekend. Just 5-6 days to go. Thank you, Shinie.
Thank you. Here, just a second.
That was indeed a very lovely and an entertaining session. Thank you, Chetan, and thank you, Shinie. I would now like to ask Rohit to escort Chetan sir and Shinie to the author signing area. This year, the BLF is simply not about the written world. We have, at the festival, a wonderful showcase of contemporary art and sculpture. Bangalore Literature Festival, in association with our venue and hospitality partner, Crown Plaza Bengaluru, Electronic City, proudly presents Forms, Phases, Forces, an exhibition celebrating motifs and emotions that books bring alive. Curated and conceptualized by Gallery G, the exhibition is on at Crown Plaza Hotel lobby as well as in the festival area. Crown Plaza is hosting an opening of the exhibition at their lobby today at 6:30 p.m. with complimentary wine and appetizers. Please do stroll over to the hotel lobby at the end of the final session of the day. While the grounds are being fogged, the concert by the wonderful Bombay Jayashree will begin shortly afterwards. Thank you.